Hi and welcome to Extreme. This week's segment on Hardcore, we're going to be speaking about gang activity in Australia and how it's affecting the youth culture. I have with me today Johnny Lee Clary all the way from the States. Johnny, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Awesome. Why don't you tell the people at home a little bit about yourself and your background?
Well, just basically, I used to be a gang member. I used to belong to a street gang back in high school, and then I joined another gang that was very notorious, known as the Ku Klux Klan. And I was the imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan at one time in the United States of America, which meant I was the overall national leader. Then I ended up leaving the Ku Klux Klan, and I became a born-again Christian. And today I'm an evangelist. I've totally changed from what I used to be, and I travel all over the world telling people about the Lord Jesus Christ and letting them know that there is a cure for gang membership, there's a cure for violence, there's a cure for hatred, and His name is Jesus.
Johnny, what do you think it is about gangs that make it so attractive for young people to actually even want to get involved?
Because young people are looking for a place to belong. They're looking for encouragement. A lot of young people do not find encouragement in their homes. If they come from a broken home, if they come from a home where the parents just don't care about them, they give them no attention, young people need encouragement and they want attention. And if they can't find attention in their home, then they will look for it elsewhere. And these gangs are more than ready to give young people encouragement out there. And unfortunately, it's encouragement in the wrong ways because nothing good can come out of a gang.
Tell us a little bit about the repercussions of being involved in a gang and what effects it has on a young person's life.
Well, it can destroy a lot of things. It can destroy a young person's future. I can show you many young people who joined street gangs like the neo-Nazis and the skinheads and ended up becoming members of the KKK and other groups like that. And today they're adults sitting in prison because they did stupid things by joining the gang when they're younger, and then they end up committing all kinds of crimes and they throw their lives away. It destroys their chance to get a job. It destroys their chance to have a family and to have meaning in life. And it destroys their chance to really make something out of their lives. And that's the problem. And they throw their lives away by going to prison because along with these gangs come drugs, comes violence, comes shootings, comes killings, things like that. I went through it myself. I went through the whole process of being pushed aside and hated by other people. Therefore, I hated society, and I was looking for somebody to encourage me. I came from a broken home. My father committed suicide when I was 11 years old. My mother chose her boyfriend over me and right after my dad's funeral and moved him into my dad's home and told me to get out. She put me on a bus and sent me out to California to go live with my sister. And my sister was married to a drug dealer. And they didn't care about me. They just, I stayed out of the house because I didn't want to get knocked around by that guy because he hated me. So I was hanging out on the streets and I ran into street gangs. I ran into a gang called the BG White Boys in Bell Gardens, California, which was what they call the barrio. You had Hispanic gangs, you had Asian gangs, you had black gangs, you had white gangs. And this white gang, the BG White Boys, I got involved with them and became the leader of that gang. I started doing all kinds of horrible things, getting in fights and just looking for a chance to fit in. When I was 14 years old, I met a man from the Ku Klux Klan. And he began to encourage me. And he said, "Son, you've had a horrible life. You need a family. If you'll come join the Ku Klux Klan, we'll be a family to you." And so the repercussions of that was the fact that I messed up a lot of years in my life belonging to hate organizations. And it all started with gang membership and belonging to these gangs. So this is what we have to do, is that we have to speak from the heart, and we've got those of us who used to belong to gangs, and we've got to let young people know that gangs do not have the solution. If you've got a problem with alcohol, you go to someone who has been there and done that and overcame alcohol to learn how to overcome it yourself. If you got a problem with drugs, you go to someone who's been off of drugs for a long time and say, "How did you overcome that?" If you've been involved in gangs, you come to somebody like me who used to belong to gangs and who used to lead the darn things. And I can tell people from the heart exactly what happens. I never will forget one of the talk shows that I was on in America is called the Ricky Lake Show. And Ricky Lake called me up one day and she said, "I have a young man who's 15 years old and he just joined the Ku Klux Klan." And she said, can you talk some sense into him? And I said, Ricky, I'll try. And I went on the show, and I talked to this young man. And come to find out, his father had left. His mother was working 2 jobs and didn't have any time for him. So he met a family of Klansmen down the street. He started hanging out with them, and they was teaching him to hate. And he felt like he belonged to something, so he joined the KKK. When I got done talking to him, I told him, I said, let me tell you something, young man. I said, would you like to meet some other young men who joined at your age? He goes, yeah, sure. I said, well, then let's go to the penitentiary, because a lot of them are sitting in prison right now. They threw their whole life away because they got talked into doing something stupid. And the ones who's not in jail, they might as well be, because they've never amounted to anything. They're living in a trailer out in the woods somewhere, and they don't even have a job or nothing to their name, and they're very poor. And I said, so this is what happens. This is reality. And you end up destroying your life. And when I got done talking to that kid, Ricky said, what do you think? And he goes, well, I didn't realize it was like this. And he goes, and after talking to Johnny Lee Clary, he says, I don't want to belong to the Ku Klux Klan anymore. And he resigned right there on national TV.
Thank you so much, Extreme viewers. You've heard it here first with Johnny Lee Clary, Hardcore.